Pleasant day to each and everyone, especially to Coach Jude. My name is Rhea May S. Morales, and my role in this video presentation is to give the overall introduction. Today, we are presenting the basic concept and issues on human development. Why study children and adolescents? It's a question that might seem obvious, but the answer is profound. We're all part of a journey that begins with childhood and continues through adolescence, shaping who we become. From birth through infancy into adulthood, we constantly develop and learn. The more we understand the stages of child and adolescent's development, the better equipped we are to guide and support them. Whether you are a future educator, a parent, or as someone who interact with the children and adolescent, understanding their developmental stages is essential. It helps us create effective learning environments, provide appropriate guidance, and respond to their unique needs. As children grow, both innate characteristics and their experiences play a crucial role to their development. We learn the impact of family dynamics, parenting styles, and the broader social environment on a child's growth. Over decades of research, experts like Jean Piaget, Sigmund Freud, Erik Erikson, and many others have developed theories that help us understand the complexities of child and adolescent development. These theories provide valuable insights into how children learn, think, and interact with the world. So, understanding child development also help us to identify potential problems, whether they involve cognitive, social, or emotional development. Early intervention can make a significant difference in a child's life. Children and adolescents are very important. We should able to know what are their potential problem so that as early as now we can help them to recover and to surpass that kind of potential problem that they are experiencing. Adolescence is a time of rapid change and growth with unique challenges and different kind of circumstances that they are experiencing with their life, and also a lot of opportunities that will be open for them. Understanding the developmental stages of adolescence allows us to provide appropriate support for them. It's not only support but also a guidance as they navigate this critical period. By studying child and adolescent development, we gain a deeper understanding, a lot of information about them that we can able to help them in the near future about their potential problems in life, about their experiences, struggles and battles. Of course, battles are really part of our lives, but we also need a guidance and support not only by God but also to other people that who can understand us. We learn about the complexities of growth, the importance of nurturing potential, and the power of creating supportive environments. Let's embrace this knowledge and work together to create a brighter future for all children and adolescents. And by that, you are not the only one who are happy, but also the children and the adolescents that you are able to help them. So now we'll be exploring the history of how we viewed childhood for centuries. Philosophers have grappled with the question, what is the nature of a child and how should we raise them? Let's see. We have three historical views of childhood. First is the original sin view, tabula rasa view, and the innate goodness view. So now we will start to the original sin view. The original sin view. The dominant view during the Middle Ages was that children are born inherently sinful. The goal of parenting was to save the child from their sinful nature by instilling moral values and religious teachings. Imagine a child as a blank canvas, but instead of being pure, it's stained with sin. The parent's job is to paint over those stains with virtue. Second, the tabula rasa view. This view, championed by philosopher John Locke, proposed that children are born like blank slates or tabula rasa. Locke believed that a child's experiences shape their character. Parents are crucial in providing a nurturing environment and guiding their development. Imagine a child as a blank canvas. The parents are the artists, shaping their child's personality and skills through their interactions. And the third is the innate goodness view. This view, championed by philosopher Jean-Jacques Rousseau, argued that children are inherently good. Rousseau believed that children should be allowed to develop naturally, with minimal interference from adults. Imagine a child is a beautiful flower. The parent's role is to provide sunlight and water, allowing the flower to bloom naturally. Modern views of childhood. Today, we recognize that childhood is a complex and dynamic period of development. We understand that children are constantly learning and growing, and that their development is influenced by a multitude of factors. We strive to provide children with the education, support, and opportunities they need to thrive. Throughout history, our understanding of childhood has evolved significantly. From the idea of inherent sin to the belief in innate goodness, we've come to appreciate the complexity and potential of every child. As we continue to learn and grow, we must ensure that we create a world where all children can reach their full potential. And that's all for the three historical views of childhood. Thank you so much for listening. I, Rhea May S. Morales, the leader of the Study Hub 1.
Good morning, classmates. Good morning, Coach Jude. I'm Crystal Rincy Banggood, and now I will be discussing the story of Jeffrey Dahmer and Alice Walker. So, Jeffrey Lionel Dahmer, also known as the Milwaukee Cannibal, was a convicted American serial killer and sex offender who committed a heinous murder of 17 men and boys between 1978 and 1991. That's a big question that leaves a mark on my head. Was he mistreated? Family conflict? Loneliness? Desiring sex? Or obsession? According to Robert Ressler, an FBI behavioral analyst responsible for coming to the phrase serial killer, there is no mistreatment during his childhood. Jeffrey's mother was depressed most of the time, and Jeffrey's father was a PhD chemist, a very busy man. Jeffrey's interest most animals. When Jeffrey was 7 to 8 years old, his behavior started to change. When he becomes 13 to 14 years old, he was coming to his sexual awareness, mean he's on his puberty. His curiosity about animals, dead bodies, eventually do later on the life with human life. When he is high school, he becomes an incredible prick, drinking and doing erratic behavior as his childhood fascination was a dead animal. He became a sexual obsession. 18 years old Dahmer was left alone with his fantasies. His parents split and he was left alone. In college, he continues drinking alcohol and desires sex with opposite gender, desperate on his brand of necrophilia sexual contract. Sexual desire for dead bodies is a poorly understood behavior. A pornographic homosexual, cannibalism, family conflict, heinous crime, and loneliness. Nothing of that happened if his parents were both aware of his behavior at an early age. What if they monitored and observed his behavior at a young age? At least they will know that Dahmer is behaving weirdly. They would consult the doctor, but since his father is a busy man and his mother is depressed, so the only possibility that Dahmer triggers doing his curiosity even more. And because of his sexual orientation, lack of confrontation, and there is no police report of missing people that he murdered, even more triggers him to do it again. And because of his sexual orientation and environment, and without a family consultant that brings him to the right path, he becomes a monster as he is now. Dahmer chooses the wrong path on the dark side of the road. I believe everyone deserves love and attention, especially on our own family. Give the child attention he or she deserves to make them understand what is wrong and right. If they fall, help them to stand. Hold their hand before it's too late to grab. Don't let the child fail. Let him or her whenever he needed your help. You are the parents. You create the blessing and that is your children. Then take care of them. Alice Monsignor Tallulah Kate Walker is an American novelist and well-known. She became the first African American woman to win the Pulitzer Prize for fiction. She was awarded for her novel The Color Purple. Alice was born on February 9, 1944, Neto in Georgia. Walker always active and causes involving civil rights. To family, poverty left a permanent impression on her, rating to well-known female authors and award-winning novel essays and poems. Walker was a self-confident and outgoing tomboy who loves to get in front of crowds, especially at church. 1952, Walker at the age of 8 played with her brothers, accidentally blinded in the eye by a BB gun. As the school in Utonton were segregated, Walker attended the only high school available to blacks, Butler Baker High School. There she went on to become valedictorian and enrolled in Spelman College in 1961 after being granted a full scholarship by the state of Georgia for having the highest academic achievements of her class. Walker became pregnant at the start of her senior year and had an abortion. This experience, as well as a bout of suicidal thoughts that followed. Walker met Melvin Rosenman Leventhal, a Jewish civil rights lawyer. They were married on March 19, 1967 in New York City. Later that year, the couple relocated to Jackson, Mississippi, becoming the first legally married interracial couple in Mississippi, since miscegenation laws were introduced in the state. They were harassed and threatened by whites, including the Ku Klux Klan. The couple had a daughter, Rebecca, in 1969. Walker and her husband divorced in 1976. Walker just proves as a strong woman, no matter what struggle, the hardship, and disbelief, when you can stand up and stand and move forward. She knows that she can do, and she proves that there is no problem without a solution. Every path she took, every road she stepped, there is a process of idea to her books that gives justice to others and help them to stand on their own and make the right path to take every step they take. There are final steps that I work, every risk and hard work they make. Alice may be poor, but her determination fight for justice, especially for women's rights, it is impressive. She knows what she is capable of doing, even though she falls once. She did not stop, instead she stand up with her chin up and choose the right path. and did what she loves to do to encourage every woman to stand up and fight. That shows now how well known she is. That's all for today's discussion. Thank you.
Hi, good day everyone. Good day, Coach Jude. So for today's video, we are going to talk about the development process and period. So before we start, I would like to introduce myself first. Hi everyone, my name is Antoinette Ann Binsel from section 1B. So for today, we are going to talk about development. So we are going to tackle how humans process their development. So biological, cognitive, and social-emotional process, each of us develop in a certain way like other individual. Yet, most of the time are focused to an individual uniqueness. However, Soundtrack 2002, who was an expert in lifespan developed, suggests that the following ideas about human development. So, as we know, human has different kind of uniqueness, especially in our development. So we are not the same because other can be good in different kind of aspect, and others individual or other human being has good in different aspect too. So the development of the people or the development of the human is not the same because we has uniqueness, especially in our development. We also have this one, the development is lifelong. So what does it mean from the word lifelong? So it means that it does not end in adulthood. So it means that human can still process their development. So it does not end in adulthood. So each of individual can still process their development in a certain way like others individual. So it does not end in adulthood. So it means lifelong. The development of the person is lifelong. So the second is development is plastic. So plasticity refers to the potential for change, that there such no thing that is I'm too older for that. So even if the things associated with declines in a certain intellectual abilities rather. So these declines can be prevented and reduced. It can be improved through routine such as training adult can learn on technology. So in this part, the plasticity is adult can really relate this part. So that people are not limited by fixing their traits or ability, but instead to have their potential to learn and adapt and improve the various aspects of their life. So, for example, providing the technology, training to adulthood, learn that can be improve their digital literacy skills, cognitive and abilities, flexibilities, and problem solving. So, as we said that it's not too late to learn the technology because as we know the technology is really big help to us because in one click you can see whatever you want to see or whatever you want to know. So that means that even if someone has not a various experience with the technology or feel intimidated by learning new skills later in life, they can still benefit from training and practices. So the brain has the capacity to adapt the change in response to a new experience and challenge regardless of the life or regardless of their age. So there is a chance that they can improve their skills because even if you're adulthood, you can still benefit the technology because as we know technology is very important in this world. Also we have this one which is the development is multidimensional. The development consists of biological, cognitive, and social-emotional process. So we are going to tackle the three of the development in multidimensional. So the first one is the biological processes. So produce the change in individual body. So this part we are going to talk about the physical appearance or physical body of the person. So genes are inherited from the parents the development of the brain, height, weight, motor skills, hormonal change of puberty reflects to the role of the biological processes and development. So from the word genes, so in this part, the development of the person comes from the parents. So as we said that if you were small, your parents is small. So what you are today, it is influenced by your parents, the biological processes. So also biological processes contribute growth and maturation and overall physical change that occurring individual lifespan. So by acknowledging the impact of biological factors, we can be a better understand how individual or how they influence their maturation or well-being of a person and also their development. Also, the second is the cognitive processes. So cognitive processes refers to change in the individual thoughts, intelligence, and also the language. So the task for putting together in a two-word sentence, memorizing a poem, solving a math problem, all involves in cognitive processes. So in this part, we are going to talk about the development of their mind. So these mental activities function such as attention, memories, problem solving, language processing, and also the decision making. So cognitive processes play a vital role how individuals perceive and understand and interact with the world around them. So by recognizing the significance of cognitive abilities, we can appreciate the complexity of the human cognition and the impact of the various aspects of their life. So we are going to talk about the intelligence of different people. So as we know, the development is has a uniqueness in every individual. So we also have the last one in multidimensional, which is the socio-emotional process. So from the word socio, it means society. From the word emotional, it refers to the feelings of the person. So involves change in individual relationship with other people, change in emotion, and change in personality. For example, a girl develop of assertiveness involved in socio-emotional process. So in this part, we are going to talk about the different kind of personality of the person or how they behave in different kind of the society and the interaction with other people. The developing assertiveness requires the navigating social interaction, understanding one emotion, and shaping one personality traits that the way they allow their confident and they effective of the communication. As we know that communication is very important to us, especially when we are interacting with other people. So overall, the social-emotional process are integral to our well-being. So how we engage with the world around us. So they influence how we maintain a relationship, regulate our emotion, and develop our sense of self. By recognizing the significance of social-emotional process, we can be better understand the complex of interplay, and also we can better understand the emotion and the personal growth of the person. So overall, the social-emotional process is talk about interacting with one another and also the feelings of the person or the personality of a human. So the social-emotional process is very important to us because in this part of the development of the person, we can better understand the person, how he or how she or he react in that way, because every person has different kind of personality. So it is important to understand them. So we also have this one, which is the development is relatively orderly. So during our infancy, the greatest growth is always occurring from the top. So the head with the physical growth, size, weight, the future of differentiation gradually work on its way down from top to bottom. So for example of this is the neck, shoulder, middle tongue, which is called the cephalo or caudal pattern. So in this part, we are going to talk about the development of our infancy, or the development during infancy of a person. So it explained that during infancy, the most significant growth and development typically occurring from the top of the body, especially our head. So in infants, grow physical terms of size, weight, and differentiation of development process gradually progresses downward from the head to lower part of the body. So in this part, from the word orderly, so we have an step by step of development during our infancy. So the first one that develop in our body, or the physical body, is from the top of the body, which is our head. So with our head to our eyes, nose, and mouth from the bottom of the body. So the infancy development is the top of the body to bottom. So from top to bottom. So to understand the orderly progression of the development can prove that insight that into how infants acquiring a new skills and ability, a predictable sequence, ultimately leads from the overall growth and maturations of the individual. So overall, relatively orderly, it's talk about our infancy development. So during our infancy, the first thing that develop in our physical body is our head to down. So from the top to bottom. Also, we have this one, the development take place gradually. So it takes years to mature, and that the way of nature. So while some development occurring the flash of insight, that more than often that it takes months, year, or a weeks to a person to undergo the change on the result to display in the characteristic. So in this part, they are talking about the maturation of the person. So all of us, as I said earlier, that we have a uniqueness of the development. So some people, it takes year to be a matured, or it takes week or months to be a matured person. Also, it acknowledged that the development is gradual journey that unfolds over a course of a year, reflecting to the nature of progress that human growth and change. So although there is an instant that where suddenly or a break thought or may occurring, that the majority of the development or the developmental change typically required a longer period to manifest personal growth and the acquisition of new skill. That display of the different characteristic involves a process that unfold over a weeks or a months or even a year. So like I said earlier, that a person is not the same of the maturation, or all of the person has a different kind of maturation, especially how they can develop their maturation. So a lot of people are they develop their maturation a year, some of them are months or a week. So so overall, the development is take place gradually. It's talk about the maturation of the people, or the maturation of a human being. So the maturation of the human being is not the same, because some of them they matured in weeks or months or even a year. We also have this one, development is contextual. So individual responds to and act on context. So this context include the individual biological makeup, physical environment, cognitive process, historical, and the culture context. So in this part, we are going to talk about how human behave in different kind of perspective of the contextual. So especially in our community or the environmental. So the human has a different kind of behavior. It depends on their environment, or how they grow in their environment. So it also emphasized that individuals are influenced by interacting with a variety of contexts that shaping their growth and behavior. So the first aspect mentioned in the individual biological is the biological makeup. So which include the genetic force or genetic factors, that physical characteristic that can impact development. So the second aspect, which is the physical development, which individual are live, where they live, or interaction with their community or society, their school, home. So this environment play a significant role in shaping experience and opportunity for growth. So the third mentioned this is the cognitive process. So referring to the mental abilities that thought a pattern that influence how individual perceive and responds to their surroundings. So understanding an individual cognitive process is essential for comprehending their development trajectory. So the lastly is the historical and the culture context are also a crucial factors that influence development. So this encompass society norms of value and traditions rather, and historical events that shape an individual identity and experience. So in this part, they are talking a different kind of perspective or how human react or how they behavior in different kind of perspective. So the physical environment, it is very important because when you are growing up in your society, so what you are today, it can be influenced by your society. So it depends on how you live or how you live your life in your society. So in culture and historicals also is a part of the aspect. It is very important because it talks the value of the person and also the traditions of the person. So in historical and tradition, it can include the religion of the person. So most of us are not the same of the religion. We have a different kind of belief. It depends on our religion or what religion we are. So by considering this different context, we can gain more comprehending and understanding of the complexity and involves the human development. Also, we have this one, which is the development involves growth, maintenance, and regulation. So these three is the most important because these three are the goal of the human development. So we have this growth. So as we know that growth talk about the physical and psychological change of a person. So that occur in such as time. So it involves here the size of a person, the weight, and also the knowledge of the person. So overall, the growths talk about the physical and psychological of the individual or of the person. We also have this one, which is the maintenance. So maintenance involves sustaining and preserving existing structure and the function with an individual, ensuring their continuous of well-being. So in maintenance, it's talk about the well-being of the person or the health of the person. So a maintenance involves such a proper nutrition, regular exercise, and proper hygiene, and also the healthcare practices so that sustain body structure and function. So in this part, they are talking about the health of the person. So it is important to become healthy person. We have to do the proper hygiene, the exercises, and also the healthcare practices. So this can include ensuring the body preserves essential nutrition, engaging in physical activity to keep our muscle and organ functions optimally. So it's a medication attention we need to address in any healthcare. So in maintenance, we should maintain our health to be healthy person. So in maintenance, we should do a different kind of practices of the healthcare or exercises. So we have to taking care of our health. So on psychological level, maintenance involve our emotion, mental health, and the social well-being of a person. So we have the last one, which is the regulations. So regulations talk about managing and controlling the various aspects to maintain a sense of balance and stability. So I give you an example for physical development of a human. So regulation may involve maintain a stable body temperature, heart rate, and the blood pressure to ensure the body function and optimally. So in this part of physical development, it's talk also about the health of the person. So we have to control ourselves, especially if we have health issue. So controlling ourselves, we should regulate that our heart rate is okay, our blood pressure is okay. So I have this example in emotional and social development of a person in regulation. So involved this is the it involves here in our emotion of the person and also the behavior. So if we are stressed, we have to control ourselves, because when we are stressed, some people can be wild angry, or they can hurt other people's feelings when we are talking. So if we are stressed, we have to control ourselves, especially our emotions. So also the behavior. So the behavior, it involves here the emotion of the person. So if you are stressed, you can hurt someone, or if you are angry, you can hurt someone who is an innocent. So we have to regulate that, if regulate our feelings, that we are okay, especially our emotion and our behavior. So overall, regulations talk about the well-being of a person and the self-control of the person. So the well-being of a person, it is very important to make sure that we are healthy. So in self-control, we have also to make sure that we should control our behavior or our emotion, especially when a person is angry. So if a person is angry, sometimes he can hurt someone through physically and through feelings. So we have to control every kind of behavior that we do. We have to make sure that we are not hurting someone, especially ourselves. So that's all. I hope you can learn something, especially the how human process their development. So thank you for watching.
This is the example of social policies. For instance, raising the minimum wage is a social policy aimed at ensuring workers earn a livable income. Another example is public health policies that provide access to affordable health care for exchange. Social policies are typically developed through a combination of researchers, public input, and political process. Governments and policymakers analyze those data, consult with experts, and consider the needs and opinions of the public to create effective policies. And that's all for social policies. Thank you.
Good day, everyone. My name is Madiel Afaraneta from BSL English 1P. Today, I'm going to tackle the developmental issue. What is developmental issue? This is the most important issue that we need to study in the children development. It includes the nature versus nurture, continuity versus discontinuity, and the early and later experiences. The first one is the nature versus nurture. Nature refers to our trait and characteristics that we inherit from our parents. If, for example, I have an angelic voice that I inherit from my parents. That is the example of nature. On the other hand, nurture is the influence to the environment and human experiences, which help us to grow and develop. Like, for example, as a student of BSL English, thinks teacher expecting us to speak fluently in English. That's why teacher help us to grow. That's why teacher help us to enhance and develop our communication skills and our grammar. That is the example of nurture. And the second one is the continuity versus discontinuity. What is continuity? Continuity happen means that developing happens in gradually and smoothly way, while discontinuity means developing in a separate and a distinct stages way. And the last one is the early and later experiences. So what is early? Early, it means that we develop during our childhood era. We're still developing until now. And later experiences, it is what we learn during our present adulthood. And we're still developing and growing until now. That is the developmental issue.